Something to Offer, the show that believes that every person is unique with something valuable to offer. Our guest today is co-founder, vice chairman, and chief scientist of Projectavision, Eugene Delgoff, and now the host of our show, Anne Marie Offer.
Hello and welcome to Something to Offer. Today we're going to take time to study and look at one man's incredible visions and dreams and how he's taken those dreams and made them reality and how they're going to affect our lives in the future. It is Vice Chairman, Chief Scientist, and founder of Projectavision, Eugene Delgoff. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you were able to come and do this. I'm really excited. Gene, I want to ask you right away. You're an inventor. And people probably always wonder about inventing. I'm wondering when that started, if you watched Mr. Wizard as a kid and did those kind of things.
Always. Mr. Wizard, since I was about 5 years old.
Really?
Started inventing then.
And what were some of your earliest inventions and where did you start your work?
Well, in my house, in my living room. And see, one of the interesting early inventions was I made a fax machine in 1961. For the school science fair, and I won some prizes, and it's probably the first fax machine ever made.
And then, but as I was going to ask you a question at some point, that even though a person would invent like the first fax machine or something else, timing is always really crucial in terms of inventing.
Yeah, well, it was too early, and it would have been useless because who are you going to fax to? Nobody else has a receiver.
Right, exactly.
But I did make many different inventions through the years, hundreds actually that I've worked on.
I wanted to ask, in terms of inventing, to understand the mind of an inventor, or so people can appreciate it, is a person's mind like the imagination just running free and wild, or do you actually look at, let's say, some other thing that had been done before yours and then expound on it, or how does it work? Or
well,
does
there's
it go
really
both
several
ways?
different ways to invent. One way is certainly the mind runs wild and just ideas pop out, especially when I'm just waking up or sitting idle. And sometimes you have a problem and say, I want to solve this problem. I wish things were easier. I wish I didn't have to do this. And then you solve it and invent that way. Sometimes you come across something and it strikes you odd and you say, now that's interesting, I could do something with that. And then you come up with something and then you realize it's an invention. So a lot of different ways.
I want to talk about, there's something that people probably have no clue that you invented and were very instrumental in, that most of us carry around in our pocket. And I wish you would talk about that, the holograms.
Yeah, well, I invented the technique of printing holograms, which is used to put holograms on MasterCard and Visa card. And it's just one of many holographic things that I developed, and this one wound up becoming very successful.
Yeah, I forgot to bring my little MasterCard.
I have
Visa,
one.
do you have
Yeah,
one? Can
sure.
you show it? Okay, we're going to show you what you have all the time that Gene has done, that you carry around in your hip pocket. Or
Here,
what?
this is the MasterCard one.
Right here, right?
Yeah, that little world there.
Right.
And on the Visa, there's a little bird.
Wow. How does that make you feel to know that, like, everybody, millions of people carry your work with them? That must be an incredible feeling.
It is. It's neat, and it certainly makes it fun, especially if you can invent something that really helps people and makes a difference. That makes it very rewarding.
Right. I want to get into very quickly, because it's so exciting. You have an incredible new tubeless projection device that uses liquid crystal. Did I say that right? Liquid display crystal.
Oh, no, you had it right.
I had it right the first time. Okay.
Liquid crystal displays.
Liquid crystal displays, and it projects onto a screen or onto a wall, and it's going to. The incredible thing about this, and I think it's really exciting, is that it's going to really replace our viewing entertainment as we know it now. Televisions, VCRs, this will completely replace it. And the wonderful thing about it is it's so portable that you won't need several televisions or VCRs in your home. You could really take this from room to room.
Right.
So could you tell us where this came from in your mind, how you got started, and then maybe we can look at the different prototypes you brought and the pictures.
Sure. Actually, this was one of those things that just all of a sudden it popped into my head, and I said, I think I could do this. And then it was a long time to figure out exactly how to get it to work right. But the basic idea I had was correct. It just took an awful long time to do it. I actually began with this in 1969.
Okay, so I wanted you to say, when you say a long time, I want people to know that some dreams and things that we really have to work a long time for.
Yeah.
So how did you start? You said,
Well, I was going to college, and I started working in the laboratory there at college. I said, I have this idea, and I want to do some experiments, and they let me. And I made some prototypes and experiments with it there. And after I left college, I continued with it at home and just improved it until eventually I got to a very good quality working prototype, or at least good enough that it looked like it might be a product. And then next step, had to form a company and get financing and turn it into really quality enough that it really could be a product and start getting it into the hands of manufacturers.
and also you've had the support of the United States government, the Pentagon. You received funding from, is DARPA?
Yeah, defense, no longer involved with defense, but it used to be defense. Advanced Research Projects Agency. They fund all the most important high technologies in the United States. And they've decided that it was important for the U.S. to have high-definition television because the Japanese had it, and we didn't do anything to develop it. And we realized, or the Pentagon realized, that we would lose a $250 billion industry, and it would be very bad for our economy. So they offered money to anyone who could come up with a system that would make it possible to economically bring high-definition television into the home. And I called them up and said, well, I have this, and I think this will do it. And they asked me to come down to Washington the next day, and I did with my prototype. And they spent all day with me and went through it, and my partners. And after we were through with that day, they said, you're right, this is the best answer we've seen, and we're going to fund you. And they awarded us $1 million, just like that.
It's amazing. And you really, I hate to say beat out, but you beat out a lot of other people who put bids in for it and showed their
They had to, before awarding us the money, they had to go through the procedure of requesting bids, and they did that, and 86 companies submitted proposals for different systems, from AT&T to Zenith, including MIT and Xerox and Westinghouse and Sony and Philips and you name it. And after they read all the proposals, they still thought that this was the best system, and so we were the first one awarded the money.
It's incredible. Now, can you explain a little bit about how it works, and then maybe we could do the demonstration and we could show some of the photos and things. So liquid crystal display, what is that exactly?
Well, it's two pieces of glass with a liquid in between them, and there are some crystals suspended in the liquid, and there's a crisscross of wires on it, and electricity addresses those wires and causes the liquid crystals to behave in a way that they either let light pass through or not let light pass through. And then we have a light source which sends a beam of light through this thing and then lenses and projects it onto a surface like a wall or a screen, so it can make an image that way.
Right, so if a person were to put this in their home, they could actually they could get a screen. I know when it's
you don't
packaged
even need
as
a
portrait,
screen.
but you could put it right on your wall or on your ceiling. And
you could take one of these things like this as an example and just put this on your coffee table or put it on your night table or on a shelf or somewhere, and then you just, with a remote, here it has a remote control, you just turn it on whenever you want to watch TV, and you get wall-sized TV. You can just do it right on your wall. Or we have an attachment so that it goes right on the ceiling, and we actually patented that so that you can lie in bed and watch TV on the ceiling.
Like being in an outdoor movie, you know, like drive-in without being in a drive-in. What's wonderful, too, is that it's going to give it's really going to give that big screen feeling to people. I mean, it's like having a movie theater.
Yeah, it gives you the movie theater experience at home at an affordable price.
Right, and it'll be able to include VCR and all cable stations and everything, which is really amazing.
This is the TV. It replaces TV. It gives you a wall-sized TV.
Right.
And
it's so light. I mean, we see how light it is. It's very easy to pick up and take home from the store when it comes out. It's going to be.
Now, we also have thought about the fact that most TVs are a box, and people are used to seeing that, and they're having a cabinet, but it's an expensive, heavy, big box, and a lot of people don't like that. So we designed a system that'll utilize this to give you that.
Do we have a photo?
And we have some photos. Here's an example. I'll take one of the simpler designs.
Okay, I think you got it. Yeah, hold it down like that.
Yeah.
Are we getting it?
Now, the idea here, this is a rear screen system. The bottom opens up, the cover opens up, and you take the projector and you put it in, close the door, and now the image projects up to a mirror to the screen. And now you have, for instance, a 50-inch picture, but this is only 18 inches deep. And it collapses, so you can bring this thing home yourself from the store, unfold it, take the projector, pop it in, and now you've got a rear screen TV with a giant picture. And if you want, you can open the door, take the projector out, bring it to the kids' room. They can play video games on the wall. You can bring it down to the den and have giant wall-sized Super Bowl for when that's on.
Or Gone with the Wind,
or whatever.
You know, whatever
yeah.
you want to do. It's great.
So this is the rear screen concept, and it's adaptable to the front projection unit.
That's amazing. It's really incredible. Why don't we show them how it actually works? You wanna
Okay,
get into
let me mention one thing. Today's all the projectors of the past have used a CRT or 3 CRTs, these glass tubes like you have in the TV set.
Right.
They're big, they're bulky, they're heavy, they give off radiation, they have limited brightness. And this technology gets rid of all those problems. Oh, the TV also flickers at 60 times a second, which gives you eye strain and headaches. There's no flicker here. There's no radiation here. The image is projected as bright as we'd like, so we don't have the brightness limitation. It's a much smaller, lighter device. It's because we don't have any of those CRTs in it. And the device, of course, can be connected to, as you said, any external thing, not only VCR and video disc, but also a computer can be connected to this thing, and you can have a large display. And
aren't you working on something with this that will then do phone displaying too?
Right,
as well?
also with video telephones. Now, one of the problems with video images, especially when you blow them up large, is that they're made of dots called pixels. And also with CRTs, they're made of lines. So if you blow a picture up large, you'll see those lines and those dots, which is why video projection was never really popular. What I've done is invented a new way to project the image so that there's no longer any lines or dots. And excuse me, and in this model, I've split the image down the middle so that half the image is the regular image with dots and the other half is not, so that you can compare the difference. And I've hooked it up to your cameras here so that we can actually get a picture of you projected by this projector onto that piece of cardboard over there so that we can see you pixelated and depixelated to show the difference.
Okay,
so let
great.
me turn this on.
Get ready.
Let that warm up.
It's going to warm up for a minute, so now we're going to be talking in the dark. But how long did it take, when you saw the problem of pixels, how did you work that kind of equation out? How long did it take?
Well, that's one of the methods of inventing. You see a problem, and if you already have a wealth of data from your previous learnings about what exists and how to manipulate optics and things like that, and you're creative as well, you put it all together and you say, oh, I can solve that problem. So it really was obvious to me how to solve the problem. And I applied for a patent on it, and I got the patent granted in the U.S., and it's a very broad patent. And now I've gotten it granted in 12 other countries. And we've just been told yesterday that my new patent will be granted on April 5th.
Wow.
With even broader claims to make depixelization and a brightness enhancement for the image. So it's a bright image that you can see with the lights on.
Right. Now, meaning that it's patent and everything, would it be able to be used in other projection devices besides this type of projection device, the method of depixelation?
Yes, the idea can be applied to any display. It can be applied to a TV set, a CRT, or any other type of projection system could utilize this to make the image look like a 35-millimeter movie. No longer any dots or lines, but just a smooth image. Now, if you look at the screen back there,
oh my goodness,
there you are.
in living color twice, or 3 times, or 4 times.
Brightness a little. Okay, and you can see the right side, there's a lot of pixels on your face.
Right.
Now, if you look towards me, now your face is no longer pixelated. Now, I don't know if you zoom into the picture on your camera over there, and you should zoom into her face too, so her face really fills the screen. Can you do that? Is that possible to zoom into her?
He's going to try.
You're going to try zooming in? No, not into the screen, into her face.
Into me.
You just zoom into her face, as close as you can get. And then we'll get a half and half image, even a little closer. That's good. And now if you can zoom into that picture on the cardboard with your camera, you could really see the difference between the pixels on one half of the face and the no pixels on the other half of the face. It turns an electronic image into the quality of a 35-millimeter movie.
I'm going to look for a minute, okay? So my hair is depixelated, my face is pixeled. Now I'll turn this. That's amazing. It's really incredible. You must be very proud. I wanted to ask you, this is fascinating and amazing. This work and this type of work and this kind of instrument, I can't help but think has some very advancing or groundbreaking or inspirational or instrumental uses in medicine and science. Is that true? And
Sure.
can
Well,
you talk about
display is very important in everything we do, and it's becoming more and more important as we get involved in computers in the home and video on demand, teaching. Certainly in medicine, when you can have a projected image where all the medical students can watch an operation and see what's going on large, they can learn a lot better. And this makes it affordable because it's not expensive, and it's a portable unit.
Right.
So there's so many areas that this will impact.
And probably in testing and things like that as well, or not, you know, like MRI, I mean, not the MRIs, but that type of
Sure.
a thing.
As a matter of fact, if there's an MRI done of somebody with a certain condition and they want to consult an expert, they could send it by computer over the phone line to a specialist in Sweden, for instance, who could then project the image, and not only the specialist but their whole crew could be looking at this large image and analyze it and tell you what needs to be done. So it really improves people's ability to have access to displayed images because it makes it affordable, good quality, big picture, easy to move around.
Yeah, and you can address things, I think, more expeditiously with something like this. In terms of medicine, I would think in terms of reading, like an MRI or something like that. I know you're also doing a tremendous amount of work with 3D things, and what's happening with that right now?
Well, we've done a 3D prototype demonstration where this image would be three-dimensional, and you don't need to wear any glasses. It's just look at it, and there it is, and it looks real. That's of limited use today because it's not a popular thing, and I think it'll take years for it to become inexpensive enough and people to become interested in it enough. But I think eventually that'll catch on as well.
I wanted to ask, the name of your company is Projectavision, and I think that's such a positive and such a forceful, moving forward, you know, a very optimistic name for a company. And I wanted to also ask you, what are the goals, would you say, what are the goals of the company? What do you plan to do, and where did you get the name, and what is the inspiration behind that?
Well, actually, I came up with the name in 1969 when I first started working on this because it was clear to me that it was a television and a projector, so a projection television or a projectavision. And really in the company I have certain products that we're working on, one being the projector, second being the rear screen unit, third video eyeglass TV, where you just put on these glasses and it's built into the glass so that it gives you the impression that you're watching a giant screen movie, and a wire going down to your belt with a little box so you could have a tape playing, watch a movie, or a TV receiver there.
I can see it now in the schools. It's bad enough that those kids come in with Walkmans.
The
They're
earphones,
going to
now
come in
that
with
the
the
eyeglasses.
glasses, and they're going to be, oh yeah.
Yeah, they will have no idea what's going on in the class. They'll just, you know, watching their favorite movie. Or
That's wonderful, though, because literally you could be in a car on a trip, and all your kids could be watching in different...
Absolutely. As long as you're not driving.
Right, as long as you're not driving and trying to watch at the same.
That's right, yeah.
That's amazing.
And then we're also going to be making a new system which I've designed, which is a hang-on-the-wall TV, and that's our most advanced system. It's still a few years away.
Will that then use one of these projectors?
No,
Oh, no, it'll come right
this.
out of the hanging...
The whole unit is only a few inches thick. It's a big screen, and you just hang it on the wall, and that's the whole unit. The projector's built into it.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think that will be the ultimate TV system. The thin unit, you hang it on the wall, it's a big screen, it doesn't take up much floor space, it's only a few inches thick, and big picture. And I think really that's where it's going to go eventually.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I want to ask, with all these inventions and all these things, how do you keep it going? Do you ever get blocked, and when you have to wait a long time, like, you know, you started this a long time ago, how do you keep yourself going? What have you had to do to, so people know what the effort is to go after a dream?
That's a good question, and this is good for all of you who might be inventors who are struggling. I struggled an awful lot, and you have to, first of all, have a good idea that's something that really people want or will want. And a lot of people who are inventors sometimes come up with something and maybe it's not needed or wanted, and they stick to it. You really have to ask other people. You have to find out, is this something that's really needed and wanted, or will it be? If it is, then you got to really stick to it and not give up, and you're going to have to take on a lot of no's and a lot of failure to get money and so on, until eventually you find the right person to be your partner or people. And that's what happened to me. It took me many, many years until I finally found the right partner, and I found a man named Marvin Maslow, who was very successful in investing in companies that were in emerging growth areas. And he saw this and he loved it, and he wanted to be my partner, and he had the contacts in the financial community. So together we formed the company, and we were able to raise money immediately for this thing. I mean, here I went from 1969 to 1988, unable to raise money. Actually, until 84, I didn't even have a working prototype. But from 84 until 88, I didn't have the money to get the company off the ground. I just kept meeting people, showing it to them and saying, do you like it? Do you want to invest in it? And they'd say, no. And you just keep doing that and you don't stop. And finally, I met the right person. And then that was it. From that point on, it took off, and it's been gangbusters ever since. You know, we're a public company now. We're on the stock market. We've raised about close to $15 million over the past 5 years. And we are now starting to license this technology to major corporations. Panasonic has already licensed it, and there are American companies looking at it, and European companies, and it's really taking off now.
So I had a question for you, which you've pretty much answered, but it's really important for people to realize that things don't, I mean, when this comes into our stores and everybody's buying it and it's like hotcakes and it's the next, you know, craze, everybody will have this, they'll think, wow, this just arrived on the scene out of nowhere. And that's really very important to me, that people understand that. That's what I think a lot of this show is, that it really, it's not, things are not
well,
overnight.
very few things are overnight.
Right.
Right.
And was that a hard thing for you? I mean, being an inventor and having dreams and visions, how did you handle frustration? You know, how do you handle those kind of times? It's very important for
Not
people.
easy. It's hard to handle sometimes. At times it gets very tough, and you think you want to give up, or you want to go. And in fact, there were some times when I went and did something else for a while. But if it's in you, you'll get back to it, because it's what drives you, and you just have it in your blood, and you can't stay away for too long. You just have to keep going. I mean, you can succeed, especially in this country, if you have a good idea, and if you're committed to it, and you just keep getting back to it and keep working towards getting this thing to be successful. But I would say one of the keys to success, this is what I learned the hard way, is, and most inventors don't understand this, you must stop thinking that you must control everything, because I felt that way. I thought I had to control everything. I had to own majority of the company. I had to be in control of everything. And as long as you hold that idea, nobody will want to be involved with you. So really, you've got to be willing to take a small piece of a big pie, and it's really worthwhile that way, because then other people can make a lot of money too, and if you give them that incentive, it's worth their while. If you don't, then they won't want to get involved. That's really one of the biggest secrets.
That is really an important thing, because I know I have a lot of control issues, and it's like, if you can let go and trust that the people that are around you will support you and help you move forward, that's much
But I mean,
much
it's
easier.
dangerous.
It is,
I mean,
it's
you're
risky.
putting your trust in somebody. They could turn out to be not a good person. You could get screwed, and that's happened to most inventors. It's happened to me. You just learn after you've been beat up a few times. You pick yourself up and you try again until you can get to be a better judge of character, and you select the right person.
But it's really not giving up, and that you kept going to doors and saying, look at this, and people said no, when you didn't get dejected.
I didn't actually go to doors, but yeah,
right.
I went to people, right?
Yeah, people behind doors, but you didn't have to knock on the doors. I wanted to ask you, ultimate goals, your own ultimate goals in terms of your work. I know we've talked before, and there's something really important that you want to do. I don't know if you can talk about that now, but it's very exciting, I think.
I assume you mean the medical thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have had an idea for a cancer treatment for many, many years, and as I've been studying the journals and looking at what kind of advances have been made, the many years that have passed have just shown me more and more that this idea is probably a viable idea, which is kind of painful to know that I might have an idea that might help people and I can't do anything about it. And a lot of people are in that position. So I really felt that the only way I could do anything about it was to somehow make all the money that I could then fund it myself, because I don't have medical training, and I would not be taken seriously in the medical community. I couldn't go and say, I want a lab and I want to develop this myself. They would say, well, you tell me what it is and we'll see if we like it and we'll work on it. And there's a lot of not invented here, and they won't go forward. So really what I'm doing is making money here. Besides contributing a technology which I think is going to revolutionize the display world,
Exactly.
I expect to make a lot of money and then take that money and put up my own medical research lab, develop this to the point where I think it'll work, which I don't think will take more than a year to develop. And either it'll work or it won't, but if it does work, it could be a really important treatment for many types of cancers. So that's really what one of the things that I'm heading towards.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm very anxious for this to come out on the market. I think it's going to be incredible. And I guess the a thing I wanted to ask you was, did you, from the get-go, when you were inventing as a young person and everything, did you sense that you would come up with something that was so big and so great that you would get all this support from everyone?
Yeah, I knew immediately. It's a funny thing, but when I was about 4 years old or so, I knew then.